You try to tell me that there are better men going these days than there were, we'll say, 30 years ago. Is this what you're trying to say?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, no, listen to me, my honest man. The men going these days are not a patch in the fellas I know when I was a young fella. And this is not exaggeration or glorification of the past or anything like that. When I was a young fella, in Lyreacrompane, they could cut more turf in a day. An average male men could cut more turf in a day than, we'll say, two males could now. And of course there's a reason for everything, you see, because when I was a young fella in Lyreacrompane, this contamination of the countryside started at first, you see.
Yeah.
These fellas would come out from Slee and Listowel, go onto the bog with collars and ties, you know, hair oil, you know, low shoes, you know. I even saw a fella going to the bog lately wearing suede shoes, you see. Now, a lot of them even shave going to the bog. Can you imagine that? Shaving going to the bog. Well, now, the result of all this, of course, is that men are getting smaller. You
What
see?
you put that down to?
I put that down to this very simple and startling fact, if you like. This all began when they introduced sandwiches into the bog.
Rubbish. You were always
No.
dead down on sandwiches.
No,
you were always
no.
dead.
When they introduced sandwiches to the bog, instead of the normal diet, I will say cold bacon, you know, and pointers of yellow meal bread, these fellas hadn't the capacity or the strength to work, you see. Anyway, the men going these days haven't the jaws to eat this kind of bacon. They haven't the jaws for it. They haven't the teeth. You need these fellas have tremendous jaws and tremendous muscles in their backs. And the chief culprit, of course, in my opinion, I'm not looking at ham sandwiches, no, or anything like that. I'd say principally tomato sandwiches.
But that's it, like, why the unfortunate tomato sandwich? Why not the ham sandwich and the chicken sandwich?
No,
you always had this little chip about tomato sandwich.
Wait a minute, I'll tell you something, listen to me.
When did you last eat a tomato sandwich, like?
I ate one of them once, I do just don't like him, but that's not the point. The point is this, that men are consistently growing smaller because of this attitude of theirs, dolling themselves up going to the bog, eating sandwiches and biscuits. I see them with biscuits going to the bog. Cheap as long ago, these fellas were powerful men. They could eat, on an average, I'd say, a pound of bacon for their midday meal. Now their pound of bacon would do 20 or 30, you know. But I'm not going to come along and say that I'm not going to come along and say like this old fellas, that the men now go over this and that. I have the proof. Look at them. Look at the jaws of them. Look at the amount of work they do. These fellas could work from dawn till dark. If a fellow works now a half an hour, he collapses. He suffers some mental strain, nervousness, and all of this. But the simple truth of the matter is this: mankind, especially around here, is getting smaller. Their heads are getting smaller, their shoulders, every part of them is getting smaller. And this, to my mind, is a walking tragedy.
And you blame all that on the unfortunate tomato sandwich?
I blame it on, not on sandwiches alone, I blame it on low shoes going to the bog, dolling themselves up with hair oil, you say. It's no good exercising the muscles of your head, it is the muscles of the arms you have to exercise now. If you want to produce turf. If you go out to any bog this morning, and this is the turf cutting season, you will see that what I'm telling you is the truth. They're just not producing the stuff. A lot of it is because of the way they're dressed, clothe themselves, and of what they eat. Man, if you like it, man is growing smaller. There was a time, of course, during part of his evolution when he grew bigger. But no, logically the change around is coming and he's growing smaller.